Welcome to Tarot for Writing. I'm Sam, and welcome back to the Tarot Deep Dive series. This is a series that was inspired by a tarot tag from Esther over at Mindful Tarot, and the idea is to spend a little bit of time every day through the remainder of the year looking at a tarot card, going in order, starting at the Pentacles. And today we're going to look at the Page of Pentacles. So here he is. This is the Smith-Waite Centennial, the pocket edition, Tarot in a Tin. I love this size because it helps me create larger spreads. I can toss the tin in my purse, take it with me as I go, and it also makes it very easy for me to create a quick little spread at my desk to help inspire my fiction writing, which is part of what I do and how I use tarot. So let's talk about the Page of Pentacles a little bit. I'm going to start off with a little definition or kind of my take on the interpretation of this card. Again, all of this is are just my thoughts, kind of what I read up on and my take on it. Your opinion may vary, and I would love to hear what you think in the comments. So let's look at this Page of Pentacles. So I like to think of him as a student, somebody at the beginning of a journey towards wealth and financial stability. This could also represent a young person who is down to earth and very pragmatic. And it could also stand for the need to look at and examine something carefully before we leap into action, especially in the material realm. So for me, this is always an invitation to kind of stop and think and make sure I have all of my ducks in a row before I take the fool's leap. Then as part of Esther's challenge, she invites us to zero in on a particular detail of the card and kind of dive a little deeper into that and think about that a little bit more closely. And what caught my attention this morning is this small patch of brown earth that you can see sort of at the feet of our page here. And it looks like some freshly plowed, nicely prepared ground, fertile ground. It's prepared and it is ready for a seed to be planted. And it kind of had me wondering, did the page, is he the one that prepared this piece of land, this plot there? And if so, is the gold coin that he's holding in his hand really a seed that he's ready to plant? It is obviously something that he's studying very carefully, and maybe he's thinking about everything he has learned to make this a success, kind of having everything prepared and doing everything he can to set himself and this new project up for success. So that's kind of my more traditional tarot take. Now let's, in the discovery phase of this challenge, let's kind of take a look at how I could use a card like this to inspire my fiction writing. I'm a paranormal romance author, and I often use characters or tarot cards to help me develop characters, to help me flesh out stories, and to sprinkle in some fun details and some richness into the chapters that I'm working on. So if I pulled this card as I'm kind of in the early stages of developing a story and coming up with characters, this could, of course, very obviously be an indication that this is a young person or somebody who's very thoughtful and responsible. You know, this could even be somebody that is good at saving money, somebody who is very detail oriented, because they seem to be staring intently at this pentacle here, aren't they? I also love the headgear on this person, so that kind of has me thinking maybe I have a character who's into fashion or somebody who's a very sharp dresser, that kind of thing. Since this is a page, somebody young, and we kind of get this whole idea of scholarship, maybe I have a character at any age really who is deciding to go back to school. Or maybe somebody who is receiving a scholarship, and that is their chance to finally go to university, get the education that they wanted. Or maybe this is an indication that this is a teacher, somebody who works with a group of students. Or a mentor, somebody that's taken on a mentorship role for somebody else in the story. Or we could flip it, and an important part of the story is that this character, this young person, has a mentor to help and guide them. It could also, kind of moving away from character to more story and chapter idea, this card could inspire me to have a story where we're talking about at least in this part of the story, the early stages of a new project. And the first thing that came to mind this morning was maybe there's somebody there, maybe a young woman who is thinking about buying an older house, an older building, in hopes of starting a bed and breakfast. Wouldn't that be fun? You know, that kind of could spin into a beautiful contemporary romance or even an entire series. And if maybe the house is haunted, or she has a witchy heritage, or the neighbor next door is a vampire, you know, we could quickly move into some really fun paranormal romances there as well. Sometimes pages are also seen as messengers. So we could play with that idea, and maybe there's a message, an important message, or a letter that is part of the story. Maybe somebody's hearing from somebody unexpected, maybe even from a relative in the past who wrote a letter prior to passing. And this could be a letter with good news, it could be a letter with surprising news, with a challenge, that kind of thing. And looking at the coin that this page is holding in his hand, that kind of gets me thinking about maybe somebody comes into a little bit of money, a little bit of a surprise inheritance, something that they weren't counting on. And now part of the story is them figuring out where they spend it. Or maybe this money shows up at just the right moment. You know, all hope is lost. They think they're going to lose their business, they're going to lose their house, or they're not sure how to put food on the table that week. And that little bit of money is exactly what they need to brighten their day and to save the story, that kind of thing. And then the coin also almost looks like a gift. So maybe this person is giving a very thoughtful gift to somebody else in the story. Or they're literally giving away money and making a donation to either a cause that is important to them, or maybe to a cause that's important to the love interest, to the other person in the story. So there's a lot of fun ideas. These are just some thoughts off the top of my head. I'm sure I could dive deeper, you know, looking at his outfit, looking at the mountain in the background, looking at the grove of trees over to the side. Just a lot of information to pull from. You could even go into the colors of the card. I find tarot cards an amazing way to spark my creativity anytime I'm feeling a little stuck in a story, I'm not sure where to take it, or maybe I'm just not in the mood to write. You know, just throwing out a couple of cards, making up a little spread never fails to inspire me. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed spending a little bit of time with me today and with the Page of Pentacles. I would love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on this particular card of the tarot. And let me know what else you would like me to share about using tarot for writing, about using tarot and oracle decks in general. Still the early days of this channel, and I would love your feedback on helping me shape this and make this into something that adds value to the community. I'll be back in the next video where we take a look at the next of the Pentacle cards, the Queen of Pentacles. I'll see you then.